Hello there, people of the internet. Welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you guys some basic cybersecurity stuff. Don't mind this. I had to run a script because of the university stuff. But as you can see, I have this, right here. But I'm not going to make things too complicated. All you need to remember, okay, is TCP and UDP. But the difference is, like, TCP is used for reliable, like, for normal stuff. For normal day-to-day stuff, you use TCP, okay? For like the data streaming, like streaming stuff, live streaming games, I'll use UDP. Okay, so this is use the datagram protocol, and this is transmission control protocol. Okay. So let's get started. So first of all, you guys want to use this thing called a venomous payload. So you want to just search up, let's say, emissive venom. This is on Kali, by the way. You can see that there's a lot more commands. So you want to use a payload, like let's say over here, because it's the previous one. So let me explain what's going on here, right? So you can see that this is appending to a shell.exe file in the format of an exe, okay? And the local host, which is the local computer's IP. Let me show you guys something. So if I search config eth0, this means Ethernet. That means the connection that I'm connected on. You can see that I have this IP right here, okay? So what you want to do is you can see that it says it'll host, that's my IP, and it'll port. So a port number on my computer that's not occupied, right? The 4444. Okay, so once I do this, what's going to happen is it's going to create this file, okay? Say for example, if I hit enter, okay? I'm saying, hey, do this on this IP, on this local host. I'm going to create a Python server. So Python m, what was that server? HTTP server. So it's created on port 80 is the usual default. Okay, it's already in used. So let's say 80. There we go. So once I go to, let's say, usual, like the local host. So let me show you guys. So keep in mind, this file is shell.exe, isn't it? So this file is going to be in /shell.exe. Okay. So what you want to do here is you want to go onto the local host. So that's what this means, local host 8080. So let's say in this case, it's going to be this IP. Let me show you guys. Where's the IP? Where was the... Right here. This one, okay? You want to copy this. You want to paste this here. You want to do shell.exe. Now once you do shell.exe, okay, it's because URL was not found. That's interesting. Oh, yeah, that's because I need to specify, because usually it's port 80, okay, over HTTP. But HTTPS, it's port 443. But in this case, we have 80 is already used, so therefore I'm going to use 8080, okay, because I've set 8080 right here. So I'm going to hit enter, and boom, just like that, you see that shell.exe is going to get downloaded. So keep in mind, by this point, you want to go on Metasploit, okay? You want to use, first of all, you need to use a good exploit. So I'm going to turn off, this is a basic antivirus, so I'm going to turn off my real-time protection, because it is in fact going to, delete the file. So I'm going to turn off real-time protection. I'm going to do this on Edge, because this one does not allow files to be downloaded. So let's go on Microsoft Edge, and let's paste, let's say 80. And boom, just like that, I can just download this file. I can save this file. Now, keep in mind, by this point, you want to use exploit. Okay, you want to use an exploit. Let's say auxiliary. I forgot the name of the exploit, but basically, let me show you guys. Use exploit this one, the multi-handler. Okay, you want to set the payload to be the same as the one that you sent. For example, right here, you can see that this is the payload right here. Okay, so interpreter reverse TCP. It's called a reverse shell. So once you reverse TCP is normal connection, like I said, like transmission control protocol. So normal communication, send a reverse TCP. So that means connect back to that computer, right? So what you want to do is you want to use this for this is the exploit. So this is what creates the menu, and this is the payload you want to set, because we set that here. This is the payload, and this is the payload we sent, because it's on a Windows computer. My local computer is Windows 1. So once you do that, you can see this is the local host, which is once again my local host IP, and which is the local port that I'm going to assign for this. So once I run this, oops, my bad. So let's say use exploit. Right, so we need to do, let's use, so let me just copy this real quick. Let me do emissive console, and, sorry, not this, emissive console, and then boom, not this one, because this is for Linux, okay? So we're going to do use boom, and we're going to copy this real quick, and we're going to do Metasploit, emissive console, and we're going to run this right here on this computer, okay? So, alright, so now we have this, so now I'm going to paste out this one right here, and I'm going to run this. So once I'm running this, okay, so I'm going to keep this running, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to serve, as you can see, we have started the reverse TCP handler, but to create a session, the victim needs to run the file. For example, let's say downloaded, right? So I'm going to keep this file, and I'm going to keep it anyway. I'm going to open this file, but as soon as I open it, as you can see, we have created a session. So now we've switched to Metapreter from Metasploit. So if I search up help, you guys can see that this is all the commands you get the access to. So as you can see, we have all these different commands. So if I do background, you can see that I'm creating a background session 1, and you can shut down the main computer. I'm not going to do that because that's my local computer, and you can get a lot more. You have a lot more commands, as you can see. So you can even use the webcam. So right now I don't have a webcam connected to my computer, but you can do get system, for example, UID. I don't think that's going to work. Let's say webcam _ stream. Okay, webcam, okay, right here, webcam underscore stream. So it doesn't play that because the webcam is not there. Let me rerun this file real quick. Okay, there we go. And we have created a session. Session 2 is open. I don't know why it did that. But basically, you want to do webcam underscore stream. Okay. Sorry, webcam underscore stream. And boom, just like that, we have a webcam. So as you can see, my webcam's not connected. So therefore, that's that. Let's say webcam or screen, something related to screen. Let's say, why can't I accept? So let's say, yep. And let's say, for example, I want to see the screen. So it's a screen share. So screen share. And as you can see, I can see my second screen, and this is my first screen because this is like a, you know, the big computer, like the bigger screen, right? So as you can see both of my screens right here, and this is what's happening on my second screen, which is my you know, OBS, as you can see, Streamlabs, and this is what's happening on my first screen and on the right side, right? So what we're gonna do is, as you can see, if I just drag this around, okay, seems like it stopped sharing for some reason. We can do screen share. You can use any of these commands. So it's pretty cool overall. You can even get information about a system, networking commands like this, for example. If, in this computer, it's ipconfig. This is a Windows computer. So as you can see, these are the different adapters on this computer. So you can do Active Directory, as in you can get more information about the network and visualize it using BloodHound, for example. So it's a pwd. That's okay. That's my, as you can see, is my usual computer's commands. So you can run all these different commands and see what's happening. So you can use this to execute more commands on that computer. You can reboot that computer and things like that. So overall, pretty cool stuff. As you can see, so we can go into different directories. Let's say cd into desktop. Sorry, cd into, say, ls. Okay, so you can see that these are the different files in my computer. So if I go into cd into desktop, sorry, cd desktop, nope, it's not there. Interesting. I think it's in a different directory. But let's say, for example, let's go to cd downloads, because that seems to be here. And if I do ls, you can see all the different files on the downloads folder on my local computer. So clear ab. So it's a cd ls minus overlay. You can see that all these files over here, which is from my local computer, right, with the dates and everything. So you can export all these files as well. So the way, the next thing that I'm going to show you guys is I'm going to say get system, and you can run this thing called a linpiece scan. Okay, linpiece w. So I'm just going to wget, and usually what I do is I go on GPT and I get the commands. So get me winpiece. That's for Windows piece. Okay. How do I run winpiece on another computer? Using, give me the commands, ali, Windows. So as you can see, we'll download, oops. So we'll do shell, it's a shell. And we'll download this. As you can see, now we're on the shell on the other computer, which means I'm on my actual computer's terminal, right? I'm doing this, I'm going into this folder, it's cloning. And once it does that, you want to run this file, okay? So file exe, and then, so it's after this clones. So we can create another terminal. I'm going to show you guys something else. Now, when you do nmap ports, let's say this is I'm going to use the, let's say for example right here, wasp vulnerable machine. I'm going to get the IP of this, as you can see, 206.129. So let's say 192.68.206.129. So this is the top 1,000 ports on this IP, okay? So you need, so this is called a DNS scan. So let's say, it's a T5 speed, so top 1,000 ports, and so once you have the DNS IP address, okay, that's like the IP address behind the domain. Once you have the DNS IP, what you want to do is you can see that there are different ports, right? This is HTTP, which is normal, you know, HTTP. That's the normal communication. 443, which is secure HTTP, and a few other ports and the type of services behind them. So you can do a tag over here and get the services, what sort of exact services are running behind them, and you can exploit them using Metasploit, just like how we did here. So as you can see, this is done. So we're going to do run this file. Okay, system architecture. I cannot find the part path specified. Let's make sure we are in that folder. So let's create a Python server. We do have Python installed on this computer, so no. Did we determine it? No, I don't think it's. Okay, we can do that, but we can in fact do. Say no. Why do I keep doing that? Python. Let's say Python. Boom. Python server is open, and let's say for example you can do IPA. Use say IP config. I think this is executing, but say IP, okay? Don't think that's gonna work. But yeah, it's interesting. So you can IP and then you can just pretty much run linpiece, or winpiece in this case, and get the information about the system's vulnerabilities on this computer. So in this case, you can see port 22 is open, right? Now, this is a white box attack because we know the username and password, but usually you would brute force this with default and word list, specific word list based information. Like in this case, you can see that there's root password and OSP. This is the password, right? Root username. So what we're going to do is we can just simply do SSH and then root into it because it's the username at this IP, which means it's this one, which is directly corresponding to this, as you can see right here. So we're going to run this, and then it's going to ask for a password. Now, this is white box because, you know, you can use this password and you can simply get in. So once it asks for a password, I can just be like, hey, this is the password, and then see. And boom, just like that, we have got in. So this is the... So now, as you can see, now I'm on that computer, right? So who am I? I'm root, right? My normal terminal, I'm Kali, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say if config eth0, oops, eth0, and you can see that I'm on this computer right now. So if I just do if config eth0 on this computer 183, this is 1206, right? So pretty cool stuff. And you can see get system. Okay, get system is not working. Okay, ID get sys. Say help. So you can see all the different commands. Let's say what else? We can do linpiece if we have linpiece. Give me the commands to run linpiece. There we go. So we're gonna run these commands. So now it's cloning that, and we can start a Python server. Keep in mind we need to stay in this terminal because this is the one that has access to it, and not this one. Okay. So we're gonna wait for this to clone, and we can just terminate this channel for now. Clear EV. It doesn't clear the... Okay, well, if we do rm, we can use Linux command, Linux command itself, I think. Yeah, there we go. But it doesn't really like work specifically very well, but... So right now I'm using Wi-Fi on my local computer, so I can see that this is... I can see that the interfaces, okay. So I'm using the, where is it? Pretty sure I'm using the virtual... Not this one, but... Let's see. I think I'm using, where is it? Not this one, but... Maybe it's this one, right here, right? If I go into this IP... on my local computer... There's nothing, okay. Interesting. So let's go on here, wait for this to get initialized. So let's go and start a... Okay, so we'll install that. On 3 minimal. And let's install it real quick. Alright, well, we'll have to wait for this to complete. And once that's done, it will execute this. And let's give it this command as well. I don't think it will execute right now, but... Yeah, so you need to download it and you get a report once it's downloaded, right? So, once it's downloaded on this computer from linpiece, right? So it shows all the vulnerabilities with this linpiece report. So, what we're going to do next is we're going to do something a little more interesting. So, over here, right? So, oops, what the fuck? Why did I close that? Bruh. Anyways, so now we don't have the reverse shell to my local computer, like this one. But I'm going to show you guys something a little more interesting. We're going to do something related to Burp Suite, okay? So, let me show you guys. Wait 1 second. Let's system. Alright, so right here you can see I'm going to show you guys what this can do. So we're going to give it a word list. So as you can see, we have this right here. So we're going to edit this port and we're going to select 6000. And we can click on OK. Okay, so once this is done, what we're going to do is we're going to we're going to turn on intercept. We're going to open the browser. And once we open the browser, what we can do is we can, let's say, twitter.com. So we're going to copy this. We're going to paste this over here, right? Paste this over here, and we can keep forwarding these requests. So you have to keep forwarding all the requests as long as this is turned on. So let me just give this access. So let's keep forwarding all these requests. You keep hitting the button. As it loads, then you keep hitting the button. So you can check for any vulnerabilities in this. Plus you can give it a scope. So you can go here to scope and you can give it a scope, right? So you can keep giving a certain scope for this. And that scope you can use to, you know, look for specific vulnerable files that are usually vulnerable. And you can see over here, you can see this is from the direct website. These are the APIs that it's using. So as you can see, if I expand, you can see the different stuff within it. So you can use a repeater. So you can copy this, you can go on repeater, you can paste this, and you can send requests and see what sort of responses you get. As you can see, we get a 200, and you can mess around with this. So you can see that there are different APIs it's using as well. So you can mess around with this, for example, the cookies, tokens and stuff like that. So if I retry this, for example, you see there's more packets that are sending. So it's intercepting all the packets before it's sent directly. So let me just close that. So it captures all the packets in the middle just to see if there's any vulnerabilities that could be exploited. So you can see if I keep clicking here. All right, so let's just close that. So you can see it's using APIs for these stuff. It's obviously using APIs, right? So if I keep forwarding all these requests, you can see that it keeps sending more and more requests. And with all these, you can see there's more requests coming in. So all these requests, so you can see this is an API they're using. So you can submit these forms, and you can also do this thing where you can inspect, like you can inspect the traffic. So let's say right here, you can go and inspect. You can go into network, right? I don't know why it's showing like this, but you can go into network and you can capture packets here as well. You can see what sort of traffic is going back and forth. So right here, we don't see much because, so you see the different APIs over here. Usual stuff in here. Privacy and security, see the different types of restrictions they've added, right? So we can forward all these. And what we can do here is we can see. So I don't think we can see anything here, but okay, so we have some stuff here, as you can see. So we could try XSS, as in cross-site scripting, some of these, because there are like forms. So let's say form and form login. See, as you can see, so there could be vulnerabilities here if you like dig deep, right? So usually, you can see that there are different links and sublinks and paths and stuff over here. So you can click on these and then you can find those files. These are obfuscated, so you can't see what's going on. It's a JS obfuscated file. So let's say method. So you can see different usual HTML like DOM, document object model manipulation. So if I go into target, you can see inside this there are different files that have been captured from this. So you can copy this, you can go on the repeater and you can paste this. You see it's giving a 200 and these are the APIs it's using, right? So you can see the types of data structures it's using behind, like schemas and stuff from the response. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. You can give it a specific scope so that way it doesn't really go all across, you know what I mean? So you can test it out. This is the easiest way to say it. So you can test it out and you can find vulnerabilities. If you find vulnerabilities, you can get paid for this. So again, you can't, usually like bigger companies, it's pretty difficult to find vulnerabilities. But if you do find vulnerabilities, you can get paid pretty well, depending on the size of the company, right? So as you can see, you have different types of requests. And you can mess around with the type of inputs that you send. Now keep in mind for something like a login form, for example, we're in the login right here. So I can clear all this, let's say delete selected items. And once I delete these, so I haven't given it a scope, as you can see, but once I do this, I'll refresh this form. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. As you can see, we have all the traffic that's coming in. So let's keep forwarding all these requests. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to submit. So I'm going to delete all these requests actually. Where is it? Sitemap. I'm going to delete this. Delete. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop these and we're going to submit, say, Roxel. And we're going to submit this next. As you can see, post request. So we couldn't find, so let's say sign up. So this is the way you want to, I'm just simulating something here. So you want to click create account. You want to just type in like, I don't know, Voxel, I don't know, test@gmail.com and just give it some dummy data. Doesn't really matter. Forward all this and forward that too. Okay, as you can see, Gmail has been taken. So I'm going to use Voxel. Yeah. I think this is already taken as well. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to say, yeah, so in the meantime, you can see that it's only using APIs for this validation. So it's using X's API. You can see what sort of responses we're getting back, right? See? So we see the response, request and the response both here. So in these, you can find vulnerabilities. For example, it will be sending cookies, right? If you not have another person's cookie, you can log into the system, another person's account, and get the response here. So it's pretty interesting stuff like that. So again, you need a scope, a proper defined scope. And if you have a proper scope, you can, so these are from external APIs, as you can see, it's not really important, but it teaches in fact sending responses back, right? So it's good to have their own problems, but you can see that these are pretty secure, right? But if you do get another person's cookie, you can in fact try messing around with it and see what's our response we get back. So if I go to repeater and if I try sending, see, it's right, misdirected request, because in this case it's sending a 200 because it's valid, but in this case it's not. So yeah, Cloudflare's in Cloudflare's working here. So, all right, well, you can see, so you can try messing around with these different types of requests, and you can see what sort of output you can get from this. So, and if you find vulnerabilities, if you tell the company about a vulnerability, so keep in mind, in this, let me just forward these requests. All right, well, keep in mind if you go to not inspect, so it's network traffic. But if you intercept the network traffic, you can see what's happening here, right? You can see all APIs as well. So you can see that there's files here, usual functional code. You can see network traffic, right? So you can see. So what we're gonna do is, if you see files here, so let's say, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so if you go into, right click on this, because there's a form right here. If you click on your page source, it's because I haven't formatted. Okay, so let's say form. Oh. Well, okay, so as you can see, there's a form right here. Let me just actually wrap this. It's way too much stuff here. Oops, so it's a pot here. It's a form. The action, as you can see, there's a get request here, right? So we can see specifically, so you can do some DOM manipulation, and you can click on this button, and you can click here. This is the form. So once you click here, you can see that this is the DOM that we're looking at. So inside this, you can see there's phone, email, or username. So this is all part of some sort of, again, this is DOM manipulation. This is all part of a separate form, isn't it? So you can look at where this is coming from. So as you can see, this is the hierarchy of the DOM and the children inside. So you can obviously try to navigate through this and see what sort of responses you can get. And once it's been captured in the target, you can, of course, try messing around and see if there's any vulnerabilities in this, right? So you can see over here. So if you do get a cookie, let's say from like a higher, somewhat important, you can technically test out copy. Yes, technically test out sending a request 200. Okay, see with this cookie, right? So it's a guest ID marked. So yeah, things like that, right? Things of that sort. You could find information about, it's pretty interesting stuff. So apart from that, you can also decode certain things. Let's say, for example, I want to decode this. If I know the type of hash that's used over here, see, I can decode what's happening here. I could, I don't think that's decoding here, but so I could decode this. So let's say copy and code as, see, this is what it says. Can try different formats. Base 64. That's what it says. ASCII. This is hex. ASCII hex. So you need to know the type of hash it's using. For example, this is a valid thing over here. So this is just the HTML. It's called like the special characters. So that's why they use a 3 here. Like the percentage, for example. That's to represent this one. So things like that, right? So once you decode it, you can understand what's coming back, right? So if I use this, for example, I don't think I can directly use this. I can modify that. We're still getting the same request, right? But that's because this is a guest account and it doesn't really make sense. So yeah, things like that, simple things like that. So you want to try to mess around with these stuff and try to see what sort of systems you can crack, right? So apart from that, you can also, what's going on here? You can also try messing around with the, what's the word for it? Let me try to pull up this stuff, Cyber. So you can see that there's, you can also try cracking passwords if you know the hash for it using John the Ripper. So it's usually using this command called John. You give it a word list with the password you want to crack and the hash for these passwords, right? So what sort of hash is used for them. Minicat is used for Windows computers to extract credentials and stuff just by running it. So like I said, reverse TCP and then run this on a Windows computer and you can grab all the stuff that's on that computer and decrypt the passwords using John the Ripper. Nmap, once again, I've shown you guys what this does. Metasploit, once again, I've shown you guys what this does. Emissive console. Hydra, once again, you can brute force, right? You can use a username. So let's say right here, say Hydra, it's root, and once again, see, so instead of SMTP, I could do, not this pair, this IP is wrong. So let's say, oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, so this is actually live on this IP, right? So we can just do that. We can go into this IP, and we can try seeing what's on this application. So you can use Buster or Buster for like, brute forcing the paths. But if I go here, as you can see, there's various different paths you can go down, all different paths, forms, and things like that. You could access some of these, right? If you give it to GPT, you can understand what sort of vulnerabilities there are. So it's this is part of the WWA. This is part of the WWA. Me, how I can manipulate this dumb XSS. Yeah, I think it's too long. But you can try different parts at least, right? You can try getting, let's say, this part, because you don't need the whole thing. Try grabbing this part right here. Let's say, for example, okay, so that was too long as well. It's fine. If it's too long, it's okay. So overall, pretty cool stuff. You can just try messing around with it. So, what's happening here? Okay, so what we could do here is we could try, so we can say SMTP. So it's not SMTP, but we can say SSH. Let's say, and boom. Okay, so you can try this is white box because you know the username and the password, but usually you would give it a password list and a username list. And once you give it a username list or a password list, you can see that you can try out different combos. Now, usually you can do this in Burp Suite as well. You can go into, where is it? Not repeater. Where's this? Oh yeah, intruder. So intruder, you can try a key value pairs like this. For example, we can just say admin and root. That's like username and password. You can give it like user123. So this is essentially username and password combo. So you can give it combos like this. Or if you're doing pitchfork attacks, right, you can do P1, which is like just separate usernames. Like I say, usernames like this, and P2 is going to be separate passwords. So it's going to try out different combos, sort of brute force its way in. Where is it? Yeah, so John the Ripper, I've explained what this is. Medusa, this is also very, very similar to this one, Hydra. So you can see SSH, FTP, and databases. So you see over here, we have gotten in, right? This one was the one that worked. That's what Hydra is telling you, right? So usually you can even use Medusa for this. So let me show you guys. L, and you see this is the way it's executed. So it's the host, this is the username, password list, and this is the mode you want to use, right? So this is SSH in this case. So let's try it out, okay? It's a host. Let's copy this real quick and say username, and that's gonna be root. Password wasp pwa. Method, we're gonna use SSH. We need to specify a model. Yeah, so we're gonna, sorry, I got this wrong. Boom. Okay, so we're gonna try this one as well. But usually you would try with lists, like let's say usernames and passwords lists. So that way you brute force and see, boom, just like that. This one was successful, right? So if I try a different password, like let's say it's not gonna work, right? It might say username worked or something like that, but it's gonna be interesting. So yeah, you can see SMBs are request response cycles, right? So this is Active Directory. Active Directory is like visualizing what the thing does. So you see user root complete. Okay, this one is complete. This one was not successful. See, this is successful, but this one was not, right? Password, it did not get successful. This one is successful. So that's what I'm saying. So BloodHound, you can visualize what it does, as in visualize and analyze the Active Directory is like a network. Let's say in my house, in my same router, we have other computers connected, right? So all these other computers, you can sort of understand, you can visualize them and then try to see what sort of, basically look at how you can get in, right? Attack those computers by visualizing the network, right? So yeah, that's pretty much what I need to tell you guys is Kerberos, right? Yeah, so this is, you guys can take a look at this one as well. This is remote file inclusion, right? Local file inclusion for local files from this service with file system. And yeah, usual stuff. Classless interdomain routing, that's CIDR. Cross-site scripting, this is a cyber kill chain, how it's done in order, right? OWASP top 10, that's what you want to know. Oh yeah, one more thing. If you see params, like let's say in certain cases, if you get access to the database, if it's a SQL database, you can use SQL map, and you can try using different commands, like seeing which database it's on, and then come out one level, and try things like that. Also, you need to be familiar with commands like sudo l, for example. Sudo l, that's getting root permissions. So Kali, user Kali may run the following commands on Kali. Okay, so you can try to get root permissions. You can try to do, say, we used a fair. Sorry. So I've used a fair share of commands, as you guys can see. So we have a lot of commands that I've run over here. So you can try these. Also, one more thing, very simple one. You can try running this curl. You can give it this. You can see what sort of response it brings. Sorry, I can just do I. Is it 200? Okay, it's not really important information. So let's say I. Let me try. You can try it in different combos just to see what sort of. So we're getting the same kind of information. That's okay. So you can do this thing where you can do curl I and use this. You can append onto a file. Say, I'll call it curling.txt. Let's make sure it's not there already. So ls curling. Okay, so ls forks.txt. So it's there. So this is not there. So we're gonna try creating and appending onto this file. So it should be done. Say curling. Now I'm gonna do ls curling.txt. Okay, so we have that file. We can do curling.txt. As you can see, this is the report on what's inside that. So it's basically just showing what's here, because that's what we did here. So it's just a simple request and what it got back. But you could try XSS over here. So I'm gonna show you guys one more thing. So it's for example, we know for a fact that curling exists, right? So it's like curling.txt. But of course this is normal permission, right? So that's why it's white. You can adjust its permissions. You can just say chmod plus x and then curling.txt. Oops, fuck. And now curling. Yeah, see over here. You see it's blue. I mean it's like green. But if I go for the previous one, it's curling.txt. Sorry, not curling. So if I do before, so it's the same thing in inverse if I do it, right? Okay, so let me try this. It's chmod minus x curling.txt, and then I do ls. You can see that curling.txt is back to normal. If I do plus x, you can see that it's back to blue, right? So this where is it? This one is just like saying do this and then do this. Like it's like saying or in normal, but this is like saying do this and then do that. So let's say I want to create a file called, let's make sure lumfile doesn't exist, because I use the most retarded names. So let's say lumfile.txt doesn't exist. Okay, so we're going to create file.txt. We're going to say open this file, file.txt, and then ls. We're going to create the increase the permission of lumfile.txt, and then we're going to check if lumfile.txt exists, and then we're going to ls. Okay, so it did everything as expected. So it opened the gedit, and let's see. So lumfile.txt, where is it? Let's make sure lumfile. Am I blind? Okay, lumfile.txt. So it didn't change this one. That's a little annoying, but it did do the rest of it. So I cannot access. Okay, it says cannot access. Interesting. I mean, it was right there though. Like it said. Interesting. Maybe it got, oh yeah, I think it got confused with the, let me try this again. But except in this case, I'm going to not leave space. And now let's see. Boom, just like that. Okay, it's case sensitive. That's what. And now if I do, see, it's right there, as you can see. And it's right there. Okay, so we can do chmod minus x lumfile.txt, and then we can say ls lumfile.txt. You can see it's back to normal, right? So it's like giving permissions and then giving permissions and then taking it away. So I hope you guys got something out of this. It's like the basic stuff. How to like manipulate, use basic Linux commands. You can copy files, so it's a cp, lumfile.txt. You can use this, and then you put it to something, copy it from this file to, let's say, a folder. Let's say touch Baduga. Make sure Baduga is not there. So let's say Baduga. Like it's not there, so that's good. So now let's create this file folder. So let's say Baduga, and then you want to create the folder. And once you create the folder, you want to make sure you put the file in there, right? So once you create the folder, you want to copy this file to Baduga. And then you want to cd into embed and then you want to ls. Alright, well, that's because I left a space here. Boom. Okay. Embed is not a directory. Man, it's right there, man. Oh, it's because it's very case sensitive, boys. Okay, well, it's case sensitive, that's why. So it's a cd embed. What? It's not a directory. It's right here. What do you mean? What do you mean his wiener is not working? Alright. Man. Well, I guess they're just not with that shit. But yeah, if I go to my desktop, you should see, where is it? This is on, what folder is this? LS. Home/Kali. So if I go into home/Kali and file manager, I'll paste home/Kali. Okay, so embed2 game, embed2. There we go. Oh, it's a file. It's a fucking file. That's why. Oh, right. I'm retarded, dude. I'm actually stupid. Wait, let me show you guys. This is not supposed to be touch because touch is creating a file. It's supposed to be make a folder. There we go. Embed2 game, man. Where did embed2 game go? No. Oh wait, it's because oh. Let me delete the embedded cam file. Okay, there we go. There we go. So we have no folder. What? What? It is there. It's right there. Embedded game. Let's boom. Okay. So it seems to be what's inside this folder. Oh, it copied everything. Oh my god, it copied everything into embedded game. Let's go into File Explorer. What the fuck? Open folder. So it copied everything, I think. Yeah, right. So it copied everything from the right. Interesting. Anyways, so yeah, so apart from finding ports and exploiting them, also one more thing. If you find, say, let's say for example, if I do it IP config, you can see that there's an IP address. Say, what is it? Wireless local there in this one, right? You want to copy this. You want to paste it there. Okay, so you want to go in here and say nmap top ports, and let's use this IP. You can see what sort of ports are open. Now this, mind you, this is the ports that are open on my computer because this is the adapter that I'm using. So it's showing the services and the ports that are open on my computer. So keep in mind the one that we used, right? So we used, what was it? The Microsoft, right? So when we used the reverse TCP, right? So it should be one of these server ports. And yeah, we exploited one of these ports, right? Microsoft TCP interpreter and the reverse TCP on that. So because it's a Windows computer and we know that for a fact. If you do we'll give it the A flag and it's going to execute in T5, so it's going to get some results as soon as possible. So you guys understand what's happening here. So let me just get rid of some of these unnecessary terminals. What's happening here? I thought this is the history. So okay, where's the, so it's scanning for the open ports and the services and everything behind it. You can also do Nikto and you can find vulnerabilities. Let's say on this, my local computer. So that's, where is it? This one, as you can see. But keep in mind, this is because this is my local computer. That's why I know this. So if you say, for example, because this computer, this one is also running, right? So let's say, so you can see that these are the common vulnerabilities in this, as you can see. So these are the entry points, basically. That's the best way I could explain that. Let me just this. There we go. I'm gonna run this in T5. Oops. No. There needs to be some sort of command for this. Okay, well, it's not gonna run in that speed, so we're gonna try like this. Clear, and then we're gonna run this. Cool. So as you can see, we have all these information coming back. So we see this. So it's coming from some sort of database, right? So you want to use SQL map and then try to understand where it's coming from, and try to use linpiece to see the vulnerability. So as you can see, we have this, which is all the servers and all the information behind the stuff, and the services behind it. So it's RPC. So what's RPC? Remote protocol. What's it? Remote procedure call, right? So services like this. It's very interesting. So you see the requests and the responses we're getting back as well. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. These are different open ports on this, and yeah, pretty cool stuff. And you can also do DNS enum, and you can give it the IP. Okay, well, say DNS enum. Alright, let's say DNS recon. Okay, well, let's give it the DNS recon of this. Let's say DNS enum. That's probably because I didn't. Alright, well, let's say DNS enum. Alright, well, I can't run it. Interesting. Okay, we'll try it without the D. We'll try it without the recon. Well, we gotta use this, I guess. Okay, couldn't perform. Okay, interesting. Maybe because this is the only one. Oh wait, because this is the DNS itself, the IP itself. Right, interesting. So if I do like something like google.com, as you can see, we're getting a lot of DNSs back. So you can even do DNS instead of recon, we can do enum. Okay, seems like we're not getting anything back. We'll make sure the commands are right. We don't need that, so that means we can just do. Okay, well, and you can also do this thing called enum for Linux. You can find all the like information about. Let me show you guys enum for Linux. So it's used to see for Linux operating systems. You can enumerate through the computer system. So that's what enum for Linux is used. Windows and Samba systems, right? My bad. So enum for Linux is pretty good, as you can see. This is how you run it. And this is the type of information. So this is the normal brute force. This is the type of information. It brings you information about what's on that computer. So if you do connect to another computer, see? So the devices. So I think I created this user. This was on, this was on this virtual machine. It was on, it was on that other computer, which is this one. Right here. As you can see, 206.129, so that's what this is. And you can see that there's a user called hacker, which is a backdoor user I created. Where is it? As you can see, right here. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. I hope you guys got something out of this video. It's been almost an hour doing this. And I hope this video is interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. See, these are different DNS endpoints that we're getting requests from, right? See. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and you can see all these different stuff that we're getting back. So yeah, you can do a lot with cybersecurity, but that's it for me for now. I hope you guys got something out of this video, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Also, try to learn how logs could be analyzed. So this is CM, which is Splunk for like information and security information and event management. So like it's basically logging and monitoring the logs, seeing if there's any vulnerable suspicious logs. So you can use GoFish and Zfisher and C2Qt for phishing, right? So phishing is like getting user information by giving identical looking websites. So you need to learn a little bit of HTML, CSS if you don't know how to use the other tools. Ideally, you need to learn those. So we've covered most of the stuff. Custom source we didn't cover. So okay, I did not cover GoBuster, Nikto. WhatWeb is like just finding what sort of technology is used. So let's say WhatWeb, and let's say I can try running this on a primary example. That's this one. Let me just create this. And pretty much you can see sublister is like to find domains and stuff. So you see this is what's used behind it. So these are the emails behind it as well. Over here. And these are the technologies and everything. You can also use, these are technologies. You can also use the Wapalizer extension to see what's used behind it. Export it even. So over here you can see, where is it? So we've covered sublister is like finding domains and stuff. So it's a sublister. Sublister find the domains for this IP, which is 206. So, okay, yes. Let's say it says please enter valid domain, but yeah, well, it's saying we need a valid domain, but this is a valid domain. Let me try a different domain. Let's say Google. Sublister D, and then let's say, what do you mean, brother? There we go. So it's gonna recon and see if there's. Oh yeah, one more thing. The harvester. This is very, very interesting. So it's saying we're saying go from all resources. If you want to be specific, you can just do the harvester, and you can say you can search from just Bing, right? What's on Bing? You say search from Google, like things like that. And sorry, let's say Bing and Google. Okay. So why is it not working? That's fine. But like in my case, the reason why I said all is because I wanted to go, and you can also give API keys and to these hunting websites. So these are recon websites. So if you have the API key and you append the API key onto this file right here, Okay, so let me show you guys. So if you append the API key to these, depending on the service that you're going to use, let's say Shodan, for example, it's really good for recon. If you have an API key, you can use the services of Shodan in your recon itself. So it will go and find things under the type of thing you're looking for. Like, this is a 200 results, that's what I'm saying, limit to 200 results. And B is the browse from flag. This is the domain, so look for any vulnerabilities and stuff. So these are websites where you can find vulnerabilities, and if you have API keys, then you can use their services in your harvester recon, right? Okay, well, yeah, so this is for finding subpaths, linpiece for Linux, winpiece for Windows, Micat for extracting credentials, Meterpreter, once again, post-metasploit, GTFO-bin, so this is like prior privilege escalation, sudo kernel exploits, so BloodHound, once again, the Active Directory, and Impacket is also similar, and Global Strike, these are also very similar, obfuscation, so it's like, for example, I need to dive a little deep into that. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching this video. So right now we're getting blocked because it makes sense. It's Google, right? So we're getting blocked. But most websites don't have that advanced resources, so in most cases you can in fact get in. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the understanding this. It's not like Docker. I think I've installed Docker. Yeah, Docker compose. Yeah, I mean, what am I doing right now? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, drop a like. Comment down below if you have any questions, queries. I would be glad to help you guys with whatever. You can see uname A, so it's A. So you can see Linux Kali, and you can see the ID. This is for getting root on that computer. ID is for finding. See, so IDs and system. Let's say. But system is not a command. Okay, interesting. System. Who am I? Didn't do ID. Oh, it's because. Oh yeah, this is one more thing, right? Say ID. Alright, so it's because I don't know why it's not executing ID. Sometimes it does that, it's kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, thank you guys so much for watching. So this is over here, once again, you can give it like let's say shell.php, it's a raw file, like this is the format, right? So you can say PDF over here and you can append a PDF file and you can make it look like an average normal PDF on the front end and then just executes on the back end. So that when as long as the wire scar doesn't detect it, it's fine. Also about Surfshark, this thing, right? Wireshark. Wireshark, you can use it to sniff packets just like this one, except it's on system basis. So for example, let me show you guys Wireshark on its computer. Wireshark. So let me open Wireshark real quick. So it's going ETH0 because it's my adapter over here that's capturing the packets. So now let's open some sort of web traffic. So look at the packets. See, packets are flowing in. So let's say TCP. So you can see the communications, back and forth communications. You can expand, and these are mostly encrypted traffic, right? Say I go on google.com. You can see that if but it's a time. So the latest ones are going to be on the very top. I think this is the latest ones, not sure. But say YouTube. Okay, well, oh yeah, okay. It's top to bottom, I think. This is something that's really confusing, but you can just do follow TCP stream, and you can understand what's going on here, see? So these are like keep in mind, this is not just for like open Wi-Fi networks. You can understand, like by following the TCP stream, you can understand what the other computers are communicating, especially if you know the IP of the device, as you can see. So this is coming from A183.129, so that is in fact my computer, as you can see. So yeah, things like that. TCP, once again, for normal communications. Unless someone is streaming on open Wi-Fi, in that case it will be UDP. So you can follow these TCP streams just like this. You can even export what conversations are going here. Unless they're using something like Tor browser, in that case it will be encrypted traffic. So packets will be encrypted and you can't really track what's going on unless you have like a professional system that tracks everything. So and decrypts in real time. In that case you can. So you see post request right here. The post request. So I'm pretty sure that was the YouTube submission I did on the search bar. So you can see what's going on over here behind the request and the response. So you can even save this file for later and check it out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys got something out of this video. If you did, Wireshark, there's a lot more you can do, by the way. It's really fun. You can, there's a lot more you can do here. So you can decode and things like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, thank you so much. Request is that's the one we're sending. Response is what we're receiving. And yeah, that's it. HTTP stream. Let's follow the TCP stream. That's the communication and session control protocol. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys in my next one. With that being said, peace out.